Welcome to 2K Sports. I'm Damon Bruce. Glad to have you with us. It's a Saturday presentation of the NBA. It's going to be the Oklahoma City Thunder up against LeBron James and the Miami Heat. And now time for Kevin Harlan. We'll get you out to the opening tip-off in Miami.
Nothing goes together like the Heat and Miami as we get ready for an interconference contest here at the American Airlines Arena. Kevin Harlan here, joining me, Steve Kerr, Clark Kellogg, and the entire 2K Sports crew. So here's Oklahoma City's starting group. Durant, Ibaka, and Perkins compose the front court. Westbrook and Cephalosha in the backcourt. And for Miami, Wade and LeBron are the wingmen. Joel Anthony is out there with Chris Bosh, and it's Chalmers in at the point guard position.
Well, you could see last season with the big three that early on offensively they couldn't quite figure it out. But as the season went on, they got more and more comfortable with each other. And I thought by the end of the year they played pretty well together.
It'll be the Heat off the tip. LeBron James on the wing, defended by Durant. Shot off the screen. Count that one. And you're right, Steve, about what you said in regard to the Heat. You know, anytime you bring new guys together, there is a feeling out period. But Clark, obviously, this was an extreme case.
Yeah, I agree with both of you there. I mean, it just takes a lot of time and massaging when you have that much star power coming together for guys to figure out their roles and then accept their roles and excel in them. That's a three-pronged process.
A lot.
Yep.
A lot to deal with. Here's Chalmers. Following the score by Oklahoma City. It's tipped.
Tried to thread the needle there. It wasn't there.
And Perkins backs in. Wade against Durant. Wade is covering, and lots of contact there. Missing the shot. He'll shoot two.
And how about that surprise trade at the trade deadline a year ago? Kendrick Perkins going from Boston to Oklahoma City for Jeff Green. And I think the Thunder really believes that Perkins can be their missing piece. You know, they knew they needed help down low defensively and with size, and Perkins is that guy.
That free throw missing. Clark, back to Perkins for just a moment. You know, his playoff calculator was a little bit up and down there. And I know they made the trade at midseason with Boston. They liked him initially. Take a look at where he fits right now.
You know, that's a good point, Kevin. On the surface, you thought it would be a nice acquisition. I still think so. Again, you've got to give these things some time. He brings experience. He brings championship pedigree. And he brings some physical presence to the middle that I think can be helpful. Now you have to figure out how to best integrate that into kind of a Greyhound-type, athletic, young, developing Oklahoma City Thunder team.
I thought he was at his best, and Garnett was right there, and they're barking back and forth and setting that Boston deep.
Hey, that's a very good observation by you. You make a few of those on occasion.
Sometimes I read your book. That's how I know that stuff. Let's catch up with Doris from the sideline.
Kevin, I had a chance to talk with head coach Eric Spoelstra. Ball movement is going to be a big part of their offensive game plan tonight, with the reason being limiting their shot blockers. He said if we go straight up on them, they'll turn us away every chance. If we get their bigs moving and playing catch-up, we can get good looks that won't be blocked. That's our goal. Guys?
All right, Doris, thanks. So, Clark, they're thinking mainly about how to tackle the defense they're facing.
It won't be easy, Kevin. I mean, they're going to have to take a few body shots before it's all said and done. It's going to be a battle.
Steve?
Yeah, I like that, Clark. Body shots. It can go inside early, try to pound them inside, and then you can play inside out at that point, but try to soften up that defense and make them move around a little bit.
Udonis Haslem, he's checked in for the Heat. James Harden, he's checked in for Oklahoma City. Durant hits them both.
You know, the Thunder guys showed their talent in the playoffs last season. I think that devastating loss to Dallas in Game 4 of the conference finals was where they finally kind of caved in.
Wade, covered by Perkins. Tries to save it.
Obvious miscommunication between teammates that time.
Here's Westbrook.
And Clark, you mentioned Game 4 of that Oklahoma City-Dallas series, a 15-point lead for the Thunder with 5 minutes left in the game. Dallas came back and forced overtime. And I remember the Thunder's incredible fans, even amidst the most heartbreaking loss of the season. They were chanting OKC, OKC till the bitter end. They have diehard support there in Oklahoma City.
LeBron wishes to Wade. Hooked away. 6 to shoot. Again, the Heat good for 2.
You know, to have somebody as dependable as he is on the offensive end, that's extremely invaluable to this team.
Westbrook against Chalmers. Westbrook kicks to Harden. Back to Westbrook. He's picked up by LeBron. A second chance effort. He lays it in with a soft touch. Ibaka's got his second basket.
Defensively, you have to get a body on somebody every time down the floor.
LeBron with it. Looking for his first bucket of the game. Guarded now by Durant. Bosh against Perkins. Shoots. Serge Ibaka pulls it in.
Well, he did a nice job to get open there. Just a little unlucky not to knock it down.
Here's Perkins. Chalmers against Harden. Durant against Wade. Tries it from the top of the key. No good from Durant.
Kevin Durant was a great player almost immediately in the NBA, but I thought he really came into his own during the World Championships in Turkey in 2010. He dominated those games and really became a force on a world stage. Looked like they found the soft spot in the defense there.
Timeout is called. First of the game for the Thunder. And some changes here for the Heat. Joel Anthony comes in for LeBron. Eddie House subbed in for Mario Chalmers. And then for Oklahoma City, Collison comes in for Kendrick Perkins. And Thabo Sefolosha subbed in for Serge Ibaka. .139 left in the first quarter of the game. Outside Westbrook. Durant against Bosh. Some solid defense from Bosh.
I think he baited him on that pass. Very savvy defense.
Here is House, defended by Durant, and that one's good. House.
You know, there's no fear out of him, guys. I mean, going straight to the hoop against a much bigger defender, he's got a lot of heart. You know, fellas, this Oklahoma City team is built the right way. I mean, been done with patience. Through the draft, I mean, you got to have some good fortune there when you're talking about the draft. The money's been spent wisely, and now I think they're starting to approach the finished product, a team capable of winning NBA titles for years to come. Certainly, they'll be contending for them, you would think.
Sure. Westbrook picks him up. T-Wade on the wing, guarded by Harden. Wade. The shot misses, so Oklahoma City will take it the other way. And for the Thunder, they've been a team that has preached defense first. And with the addition of Kendrick Perkins, that certainly adds now to a big, athletic, and physical, tough team up front. And really from top to bottom, Steve.
Yeah, they've got a nice bench, too, Kevin. There's not a whole lot lacking on this roster. But what they have to do is improve from within. Last year, I thought they were exposed in the playoffs. They didn't get great shots. They didn't look fluid offensively. Those are areas that they can improve upon.
Now, here's Collison. After Dwayne Wade's miss, Just 5 to shoot.
Great job defensively, getting out and forcing that turnover.
Anthony, the pass to Haslam. Well, it's been a high-scoring competitive game through the first quarter of play. It's the Thunder leading by just 1.
Really good sign offensively the way they started this game out, getting a lot of hoops from close range.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to get baskets inside. I know you were a three-point shooter, Steve, and a really good one, but it's always easier to score in the paint.
And we'll see you in just a moment. Well, it's been a tight one so far as we get the second quarter going back here. Here's Maynard. And now, brought to you by Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset our lineups. On the floor for Miami, we've got Joel Anthony. Chalmers is out there with Mike Miller. And it's LeBron James. And it's Haslam in at the power forward position. And Doris Burke has something for us. Hey, Doris.
Hey, Kevin. Well, Kendrick Perkins, a Boston Celtic for his entire NBA career prior to the trade last season, he said it kind of felt like the worst day of my life when I got traded from the Seas. Fortunately for Perk, he headed to a young team on the rise in Oklahoma City. When I got here, he said, everything just kind of blew me away. The organization is first class. I'm impressed with everything, how things are handled here. Great staff, just unbelievable. And now in his first full season with the Thunder, Perkins definitely settling in.
Yeah, building chemistry on the court will be their focus. Thanks, Doris.
Well, the West has long been considered the stronger of the two conferences in the NBA, but Miami, with its revamped roster, really had no problem beating Western Conference foes last year.
You're right, Steve. Going back to Miami in the West, 20-10 against that Western Conference. That was kind of a rarity.
Yeah, Kevin, and if you compare their numbers against the West versus the East, the Heat had a much easier time putting up points against the Western Conference opponents.
Shot clock at 6. Low block shot on the way, and the jumper is good. Collison's got his first bucket in this one. And here comes LeBron. The feed now to Haslam. Back to LeBron. Let's go. Hits the jumper. And the Heat lead by 2.
And they are just lighting them up from mid-range area.
You know, sometimes we forget about the value of the mid-range or in-between game. This team has made 8 of their last 10 with that shot, the in-between shot.
Now, Kevin Durant creates so much space for his shot. I thought at times he settled a little bit too much for long-range shots, and where he could make the most improvement is down on the block with a post game.
And Miami calls their first time out of the game. Speaking of Durant, Clark, and working in the post, do you think he's strong enough physically to be effective down there?
At this point in time, that's one area he needs to get better at. He needs to add more strength in terms of being a post player. If he's taller than the guy defending him, then I think he can be somewhat effective. But that's an area of growth for him. As he gets more aggressive and adds to that frame of his, then I think he can really be a difficult guy to defend in the low post. But he's not there yet.
Because, the initial defense is going to be strong. And a lot of times we go over and you have somebody double. Now you got 2 guys on
right.
that. And that's tough.
That's exactly right.
And the Heat with some changes. Chris Bosh is checked in for Haslam. Wade comes in for LeBron. Eddie House subbed in for Mike Miller. Then for the Thunder, Kendrick Perkins. He's checked in for Durant. Harden comes in for Cephalosha. And Russell Westbrook is subbed in for Eric Maynard. Here's Chalmers. Picked up by Collison. House kicks to Wade. Westbrook against Chalmers. 6 on the shot clock. It's House outside, and that one's good. He's got 5.
And again, the lead changes hands.
Yeah, back and forth we go, Steve. I mean, back and forth, back and forth. Neither side caving in.
Now, here is Harden, still looking to get on the scoreboard. Shoots. It's rebounded by Bosch.
Scott Brooks, winner of the 2010 Coach of the Year award. He and, of course, Kevin Durant have been a big reason why the Thunder have moved up the ladder to become one of the league's elite teams.
Chalmers against Westbrook. Lets it go from deep. Westbrook with the nice D there.
Not the best shot. Long range and with a defender right in his space.
And defensively, that's the kind of work he's known for. I mean, he loves to lock you up.
Now here's Westbrook. Now here is Harden over Anthony. Harden's shot is good. And that ties it up. Back to Brooks for a second. It's been amazing to see him transform his team from what they were, Steve, to what they are now.
Well, every year they've taken steps forward. And, now they're poised to become one of the elite teams in the league. It gets a lot tougher from here on out. The honeymoon is over, and it's time for them to get to that elite level. And they've got to get better. They have to make some internal improvement.
You knew the big three when they came together, guys, that they would be good. But they did a pretty decent job, I thought, of finding complementary players to fill out the roster after a big chunk of the salaries went to the big three.
Well, back to the Heat, and Clark, you're right. They searched out vets that knew how to fill a role and a need and really build a team around the stars.
Well, and that's critical because anytime you have the core group together, it's about finding role players who are going to accept their responsibilities on the team and accept the fact that sometimes they're not going to see the minutes that they would otherwise like. But they handled it well. They got a good roster around their stars, and it paid off.
Now let's send it to Doris from the sideline.
Hey, Kevin, well, one of the things the Heat had to overcome early last season was their fear of stepping on each other's toes early. There was a turning point that helped them get by that and put it behind them. LeBron James saying of Dwayne Wade, he stopped trying to figure out if it's his time or my time. Instead, we just played our games, and the results were pretty good. Guys, hard to argue with that logic.
All right, Doris.
When you gather stars like that, they'll take some time figuring each other out. Chemistry just doesn't happen overnight.
Well, and eventually they had a terrific year. Didn't quite take it all the way, but got to the finals, and now I think the table is set for Miami to be a contender for years to come.
Durant hits them both.
Well, Oklahoma City has been gradually improving over the last few seasons, and one of the things they've done better at is winning on the road. Last year, 25-16, one of the very best marks in the NBA.
Sefolosha dishes to Harden. Moving it around nicely. The jump hook. Durant. That's good. Durant's got 11 points. And for the Thunder, that continued improvement on the road, and Stevie just said 25-16. Clark, one of the signals of their growth into a legitimate contender.
Well, Kevin, they've got a lot of the things you need to have to win on the road. They rebound the basketball. They're a good free throw shooting team. They've got the best scorer in the league, one of the best scorers in the league, in Kevin Durant. And they can put the ball in the basket as a team. Again, I really think you've got to be able to score when you go on the road. Offensively, you've got to be able to put pressure on the home team's defense, and Oklahoma City has that capability.
And the Heat call time here.
You look at Oklahoma City, and the Thunder were especially tough against the Eastern Conference last season. I mean, 22-8 against the East. In fact, only the Spurs and the Bulls had a better record when playing the opposite conference.
And the Heat with some changes. Joel Anthony's checked in for Augustus. Miller comes in for Dwayne Wade. And it's Chalmers in for Eddie House. Then for the Thunder, Serge Ibaka has checked in for Perkins. And it's Maynard in for Russell Westbrook. 1:02 left in the first half of the game. LeBron outside. Clock at 6. Bosh, the screen. And they double him up with LeBron. Shot to stop the run. And the rebound goes to the Thunder.
I'd like to see a 2-for-1 situation here, Clark.
I agree. I think it's always good to give yourself that last shot.
Doubled by Bosh. Ibaka right side. Outside Durant. Banked in off the glass. And it's a 9-point Thunder lead.
Attacking the paint again and again.
You know, they're getting whatever they want. I mean, 8 straight points coming inside.
Now LeBron. Over Ibaka. LeBron's shot is good. LeBron's now got 6.
The pick wasn't ultra effective, but it got him just enough room for the score.
That'll do it for the first half. Live from Miami, we're back in a moment.
A great Saturday for some NBA action. Here's your weekend edition of the HP Halftime Report. Oklahoma City up on top against the Heat over at American Airlines Arena. They've been making smart passes, protecting their possessions. Fundamental basketball's a beautiful thing to watch. A nice start for Serge Ibaka. He's picked up 4 points and been a huge factor on the glass. And for the Heat, it's a grinded-out effort. They've looked to their bench for scoring, and it's paying big dividends. LeBron is their leading scorer, and Chris Bosh also been getting it going for them. The two players who've had an easy time finishing off around the rim, here are your leading scorers. And that just about wraps it up for us here in the studio. Now let's get you back to Kevin and the crew for the second half.
And the third quarter about ready to get underway. Here's Westbrook. Second half is underway, and here's who Scott Brooks has got on the floor. Durant, Ibaka, and Perkins compose the front court. Westbrook and Cephalosha in the backcourt. Now here's Westbrook. 7-point differential. 6 on the shot clock. Defended by Chalmers. Controls the rebound and puts it back up and in. Perkins got the first points of the third quarter up on the board for the Thunder. Chalmers passes to Anthony. Wade double team. And Chalmers kicks to Wade. Goes up off the ball and the jam by Wade. What a play. Now Sprite Slam King to replay that one.
Come on now, I didn't see. Can you believe that finish? Boy, a little bit of flair and flavor at the end of it.
Oh, that'll be a fan favorite, all right.
That was not your average typical dunk.
You know, when you watch Wade in recent years, he's really developed an outstanding post game with a lot of moves at his disposal, and it's based on excellent footwork.
Now here's Perkins. He's got 5. From past the arc. And again, Oklahoma City with the triple.
They love to see him aggressive like that when he's on the floor, especially when the defense gives him room.
And Clark back to Wade in the post, as you brought up. He has all the tools, don't you think, Steve, to go right at guards, right in that low portion of the lane.
Yeah, Dwayne Wade can pretty much do whatever he wants on the floor. I mean, he's got such great ability athletically, strength-wise, speed-wise. Makes him almost impossible to guard. And I think as you see him get older, you'll see him more and more down on the block, particularly if he works on that footwork, a la Michael Jordan late in his career.
And the Heat call time here.
You know, the Big Three in Miami had a tremendous amount of success in year one. They didn't reach the 70-win mark, which I think was crazy for people to be talking about anyway, but they still managed to get 58 of them.
Out of bounds. And they'll keep possession. Back to the Heat. 30 of those wins were at home. Very strong team, Steve, in Miami.
Well, that home record was good for third best in the Eastern Conference, and I think they're actually looking to improve on that record this year.
Now here's LeBron. 6 points for him. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up and 2 shots coming up.
Well, last year in the playoffs, LeBron was up to his usual tricks. He felt good about not having to carry the same load as he always had to, though, and that relieved him a bit and made him better in my mind.
And the first one drops. Back to LeBron. You know, Clark, he didn't have to carry the load like he did up in Cleveland, but he still had some big-time shots for the Heat. And, Steve, not necessarily in the regular season, but really in the postseason. That's where he stepped up big time.
Yeah, particularly in the first 3 rounds. In the finals, remember, he kind of took a step backwards, but in that Chicago series, he made some enormous shots in that series. He was so good offensively. And then all of a sudden against Dallas, it was like he lost his confidence. So he's still a little bit of a work in progress in terms of putting it all together.
Now here's Westbrook. Shot clock at 5. And Kevin Durant with the slam.
How's that for finishing with flavor?
Absolutely fantastic.
I think he was saving that one for a special occasion.
Bosh, a screen on Durant, and Durant comes to help. And Chris Bosh with the slam.
That's a solidly executed pick play. I mean, it paid dividends with that nice dunk.
Exactly the result they were looking for.
Yeah, it worked so well. I mean, he got set, did not shuffle his feet. Really well done there offensively.
Now here's Westbrook. Now Anthony defending. Here's Perkins, and there's another one for the Thunder.
Points in the paint have been the main course, or main entree, if you will. They just keep pounding it inside.
Well, they're seeing no resistance defensively in the paint area, so the defense has got to be tougher.
Here's Bosh. 6 points for him. 13 feet out. No good. So Oklahoma City will take it the other way.
They have a nice lead here and have really controlled the glass for the majority of the game. Kudos to them for their strong effort on the backboards.
Yeah, and they're sending a message too, Clark. They're really coming out and playing a very physical game here.
Now, here is Harden. It's a 10-point game.
Couldn't convert, but nice little 2-man game there.
And it wouldn't surprise me to see them go back to that the next trip.
Deflected. Westbrook with the steal. On the wing, Harden. It's stolen by Anthony.
Now, part of the reason they are where they are is that they have taken care of the ball for the most part.
Wade against Harden. Chalmers, defended by Durant. LeBron kicks to Anthony. Just 5 on the clock. Here's Wade. And he draws body contact. Looked like a blocking foul, and he was in the shooting motion. So he'll head to the free throw line.
When you think of elite shooting guards in the NBA, Kobe Bryant is the #1 name that comes to mind. But Dwayne Wade is really close to being his equal.
That free throw good from Wade. Clark, you brought up Wade and Kobe. Both have been talked about and compared to Jordan, Steve, during their respective careers.
Yeah, I think Wade has a lot of the same qualities as Michael Jordan in terms of the athleticism and the ability to rise under pressure. He seems to really thrive when the game is on the line. He enjoys taking that last shot. He doesn't worry at all about missing it. He's a guy who wants the ball in his hands with the game on the line.
Sefolosha, and the layup is good. Cephalosha's got 5 now. There's 1:26 left in the third quarter. Timeout called the Heat.
And obviously, Coach doesn't want them giving up all these inside buckets. They need to do a better job of moving their feet, staying in their stance, and keeping their man in front of them.
Here is House. He has 6. He kicks it to LeBron. Harden against Wade. 6 to shoot. Over to Harden. Wade gets the bucket. Wade's got 5 points now this quarter.
I tell you what, you watch this guy put it in the basket, and his scoring ability can just astound you at times.
And here's Westbrook. Outside Collison. Outside Westbrook. Chris Bosh with the rebound. Bosh has got 3 rebounds now in this one. They need to get going. Here is House. Backing down is LeBron. Bosh kicks to LeBron. Lets the 3 fly. And the rebound goes to the Thunder. Perkins got 3 rebounds so far in the game. He's covered by Bosh. And offensively, a great show for the fans through the first 3 quarters. It's been a fun game to watch. What a game we're seeing from Kevin Durant.
You know, all game long, he's gone right at defenders, creating contact, and he's found a way to get to the free throw line.
You know, it might not be the prettiest way to tally up the points, but they count nonetheless. I mean, the fourth quarter's coming up, and he might get some guys in foul trouble if he keeps dominating the paint like this.
We'll be back momentarily. Now let's check in with Doris Burke for our Sprite Spark of the game. Doris?
And Kevin, for that great stretch the Thunder put together, they get the Sprite Spark Award. Things started going their way in the second period, and that was clearly the turning point in this game. They got separation at that point, and now they'll try to close this thing out here in the fourth.
Thanks, Doris. Clark, it was a scoring run that proved extremely important.
Yeah, Kevin, you know what? I think that's exactly when they grabbed this one by the throat, really seized control of it.
And you could see their energy just building as the game went on. And by the end of that run, they really took control of everything.
So with LeBron on the bench, this is who Eric Spoelstra has on the floor. Chalmers and Wade are the 1 and the 2. Mike Miller is out there with Haslam. And it's Anthony in at the center filling out the middle.
You can't just get a hand up. You've got to anticipate what he's doing before he shoots.
Westbrook with it. Durant for 3. That's good, and so Westbrook comes up with the assist. Westbrook's got 3 assists tonight.
They've stepped up their three-point shooting game in the second half. They're letting it fly out there with reckless abandon.
Now they're feeling confident, and they're in a good flow offensively, so why not just keep firing from out there?
Now here's Wade. And another basket for Miami.
Yeah, he's so good from that mid-range area.
Outside Westbrook. For 3, Durant. And it's D. Wade with the rebound. The Heat trail by 7. Westbrook picks him up. Wade. Replay here. Spike Sanquin showing it once more.
Now that's a special order right there.
Not everybody can cap off a dunk like that.
Yep, very difficult maneuver, but a tremendous one if you can pull it off.
Time called here. The Thunder decide to talk it over. And now Doris Burke has an update from the sideline.
Yes, Kevin, during that break, Coach Scott Brooks had some words for his team. He wants to make sure they stay assertive and aggressive on the offensive end, saying, I don't want to sit on this lead. Let's build on it and not give them a chance of coming back. Guys?
Catching up on the changes with Miami. Chris Bosh is checked in for Joel Anthony, and it's LeBron in for Dwayne Wade. Now here's Durant. Shot clock at 6. Ibaka, and he throws it down with one hand.
Throwing it down with one hand and making it look easy.
Easy and fun. He just thrives on making the D look silly.
Yeah, which is something he does pretty often, Kevin.
Here's LeBron. Now here is Haslam. Back to LeBron.
Who got ball? Who got ball?
Defended by Durant. That's good. 10 points for LeBron.
Well, they've really picked up the intensity here since halftime.
I think they got the pep talk in both teams now, really going after each other.
Here's Maynard, defended by Chalmers. Now Maynard, he feeds it to Cook, and it's Miller picking him up. Here's Durant, hits the close-range jumper. Durant's got 20.
You know, he's given them a nice scoring option through most of this game.
Chalmers dishes to LeBron. Guarded now by Durant. Over Ibaka. And again, LeBron James.
I think he's done his part to try to keep him in this game. It's been a solid effort from him, guys.
Here's Maynard from outside the arc. And Durant gets it to go. The assist by Maynard. Maynard's got 3 assists tonight.
Oh, I like the fluidity I'm seeing from them on offense. It's a thing of beauty. Fun to watch.
Yeah, it is. They're moving the ball well, finding the open man, making that extra pass. They're playing very unselfishly right now.
Timeout called, the Heat.
He's definitely rolling offensively. You might not be able to stop him, but you've got to find a way to contain him.
Dwayne Wade's checked in for Mike Miller. Then for the Thunder, James Harden. He's checked in for Daquan Cook. And Russell Westbrook is subbed in for Eric Maynard. Here's Chalmers. Westbrook picks him up. Wade outside. Defended by Durant. Takes it right up. And the bucket counts. He is on his way to the free throw line. Try to make it a 3-point play. Wade, no good on the free throw.
Boy, I am absolutely loving this. They're bumping bodies down there and taking no prisoners, coming away with every board.
Yeah, that willingness to fight for every loose ball is a big reason why they have the lead right now, Clark.
Back to LeBron. Good luck. On the rebound goes to the Thunder.
He'll usually knock that shot down.
He sure will, but that's one he couldn't pass up. He's been doing a nice job taking care of the ball. Not many miscues from him in this one. That's his only turnover.
And here's Westbrook. On the wing, Harden. Wade is covering. 6 on the shot clock. And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot. Mario Chalmers picks one up.
Their free throw attempts are down this half, probably because they're settling for that outside shot too much.
Yeah, I think they're getting a little complacent with their shot selection, Clark. A little lazy on offense. Got to be aggressive and attack the rim.
Good on the first, and that makes it a 7-point lead. Two for two, and it's an 8-point ballgame. Timeout called the Heat. They're down by 8. 1:15 left in the fourth quarter of this one. Here's LeBron. Defended by Durant. LeBron outside. Haslam inside. Ibaka on him. Haslam, that's good.
Gotta love the use of the bounce pass there. Perfect feed.
Here's Westbrook. 56 seconds left to play here in the fourth. Five on the clock. Durant just inside the line. That one off the back iron.
Urgent possession here, Clark. They need a basket.
No doubt about it, Steve. They need quick, efficient scoring.
This may be their most important possession.
Yeah, as long as they don't make a mistake here, they should be safe.
And he doesn't get the first one to fall. Sinks the second, and that makes it a 7-point lead. Timeout called the Heat. They're behind by 7. 26 seconds left in the fourth. Here's LeBron. Off the inbound. Sinks it. Oh, and that cuts the lead to just 5.
Excellent find there on that inbound. Really good execution.
Here's Westbrook. And that's an intentional foul. Sinks the first one, and that increases their lead to 6. Hits them both, and it's a 7-point ballgame.
Clutch free throws there. He drained them all to raise the lead.
Westbrook against Chalmers, moving the ball well. LeBron passes to Haslam. Back to LeBron. And a missed late.
Look, the defender made a nice recovery there. It looked like he was beaten, but he still managed to challenge the shot.
So it's Oklahoma City picking up the win. Both teams played well, but these guys had the edge.
Yeah, I think so. They were just steak knife sharp. Very on top of their game here.
Well said. Well, it's time to say so long. For Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke, this is Kevin Harlan along with our 2K Sports crew thanking you for tuning in. Now it's time to present our Jordan Player of the Game, Kevin Durant.